Hey yogis, good morning. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Please make sure for today's practice that you have handy if you have a yoga strap at home, that's great. Otherwise, you can grab a necktie, a shirt, a sock, like a long sock, or even a pillowcase. But you'll definitely want something to be able to get yourself into binds and join your hands behind your back. So grab something that will be useful for that. Everything else is going to be optional today. If you have books or blocks at home, you might enjoy that, but not required for today's practice. We're going to have kind of an inner glow flow, so it's going to be pretty fiery. You might want to have some water nearby, and we'll get started in just about 5 minutes. So welcome. Okay, welcome, yogis. Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Good evening. We're going to start this morning in a seat that, if you'd like, you can prop yourself up with whatever you've got at home, a pillow, or if you have a bolster or a blanket, and then crisscross in whatever way is comfortable for you. And bring your hands into Avani Mudra. So it will be your ring finger drawn down toward the pad of your thumb, and then touch your thumb onto the second knuckle. I'll come a little bit closer to show that, onto your second knuckle, and rest your palms up. It's going to be here with your ring finger drawn in, and then your thumb to the second knuckle here. So Avani Mudra, we'll be building some fire today, getting twisty-turvy in the practice. So go ahead and land. Agni, of course, is that built-in fire system of your body. There are many different types of it. And in order to have a lustrous or glowing health, we really want to have a strong and vibrant Agni, a strong and vibrant inner fire. And so this mudra is going to aid us in accessing that from the start of the practice. You might take note of things here like your body temperature, the fire of your breath, how it really feeds your form. Maybe you've tapped into Ujjayi breath already, or find a smooth organic breath. Notice any fire burning in your mind. It's very active, a little softer, like smoldering this morning. And then bring your awareness in toward solar plexus, which is that soft spot. It's a nerve bundle, a nerve plexus, where both sides of your ribs come to meet. And then just underneath it, there's a kind of a soft and sensitive spot. If you've ever touched that spot, it's a little, it can almost make you feel nauseous if you touch it with too much pressure. It's a really, really sensitive area and zone of the body. So the solar plexus, or Manipura in energy medicine, this is the inner fire, the lustrous gem of your energy system. And that is the home of Agni, of the fire element in your body. So draw your awareness there, and then maybe visualize any form or color of yellow behind your eyes. This is the color of the third chakra, Manipura. And notice the first concept of color that comes to your mind. Is it really like a bright white yellow, more of like a goldish tone, something brown or ruddy? How shiny or vibrant is that center as you come to land on your mat this morning? I hope to buff that up throughout the practice. So take a last breath or two here to explore your inner landscape, anything that's coming up into your screen of awareness as we start the practice. And then if you'd like, you can sustain this Agni Mudra, or if it feels like you're building a lot of heat with it, you can go ahead and release and rest your palms down. Draw your chin down towards your collarbones. Start to rock from side to side, a gentle lift, so that your gaze comes up over one shoulder and then the other. And perhaps allow your head to roll all the way toward the back. Move very mindfully. And then swap directions if you haven't already. Slide it all the way back towards center. Reach the crown of your head upwards so you can lengthen your neck spine. And then interlace your fingers at heart center. Press your palms out toward the top edge of your mat. And then inhale your open palms upward toward the sky. Reach your gaze up to follow. Exhale, release. Come all the way down. Take fingertips wide. Rest your right palm into the earth or right forearm. Reach your left fingertips all the way up and overhead. So you can spin your gaze up and under your left elbow if you'd like. Draw your low tummy in and then breathe all the way back to center. Once again, interlace your fingers at your heart. If you remember which side is the dominant side, take the opposite pinky to the front. Interlace, press your palms out, and then upward. Follow with your gaze. Exhale, release. Take your fingertips wide on your mat. This time, leave your left palm, plant your left palm or left forearm. Reach your right fingertips up and over. Spin your gaze under your elbow if you'd like to. And then go ahead and draw navel back toward lumbar all the way to center. So you're going to hear that cue a lot throughout the practice. Those working with Uddiyana Bandha in your practice, go ahead and find that anytime you hear that cue. Interlace your fingers back at heart center. One more round, press your palms out and then upward so that your gaze to follow. This time, release your hands, but draw your hands together at the back of your mat. Interlace your fingers behind you. Press your knuckles down to the earth. Maybe they even touch. Take a lift with your heart. You might walk your knuckles a little bit further behind you. You can do that to access a little bit deeper back bend if it feels appropriate in your practice. And then exhale, draw back through neutral. Keep your hands down behind and fold your weight forward. And then inhale all the way back up. Release your hands from behind you. Swap the crisscross of your legs, so opposite foot to the top or to the front. And before we switch it up, take a couple full belly rolls or full trunk rolls. Big full circles. Sometimes I like to bring my shoulders into this roll too, just a last little lubrication for the whole length of your spine. Maybe bring shoulders in, maybe even head and neck as well. Reverse the direction. Tune in with your breath. And go ahead and bring it all the way back towards center. You can either sweep your feet around behind you or roll up through feet and ankles. Take a seat back onto your heels. For those of you at home, anything you have around within reach, if you'd like to prop yourself up, that will give the joints, the ankles, knees, and hips a little bit more space. Otherwise, come back and touch onto your heels. And make a soft fist with your right hand and bring it in just below your navel. With your left hand, come to wrap your right hand. And so I know we think of this fist movement as like an aggressive mudra, but we're not going to press or push. Just leave your hand resting softly there. And then the pressure is going to come from the movement of your body. So exhale your heart forward, like a wave of your spine. And then as you inhale, lift from the back side of your heart. Slow lift. The weight of your head will be the absolute last to rise. We'll take a couple more waves like that. It's like a little bit of a wake up. If For your organs, a visceral massage. Say good morning. Enliven your digestion. Take 2 more. Exhale, lead with your heart. Wave your way down. And inhale, deep breath. Release your hands, reach your arms wide and high. And then on your exhale, bring your right hand to your outer left thigh. If it's available in your practice, I invite you to bend into your left elbow and wrap your forearm behind your back. So some might hook into their right hip pocket, or you might just leave your arm there. Allow your inhales to lengthen you. We're gonna do lots of twisting today. So first get really long. Again, draw the navel back and then see if there's space to squeeze a little bit deeper. So the reminder today is going to be that as you twist, see if you can do that without losing length. So notice if you're kind of rounding or hunching in any way. And we have Alex here doing demonstration of the poses this morning, so you can see she's keeping her back really nice and tall and long. With your exhale, release back to center. Take both hands high. Full breath, bring your gaze up to your fingertips. So this is a good spot to find length in your trunk if you've lost a little bit. And then exhale, twist. Same invitation, opposite side. Left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Bend into your right elbow. Wrap your forearm around your low back. Maybe grasp on to the crease of your left hip. And then allow your inhales to pull you tall. So it's a really important piece. Lots of length. Space between each of your ribs. And maybe use your exhale. Press into your outer right thigh. Find a little bit of a deeper spin. So you might already feel a little bit of heat being built. It doesn't have to be fast. Just working with these deep twists and the ugly center of the body can build a lot of heat. Go ahead and release. Come all the way back to center. Reach your 10 fingertips high. Breathe your hands down through your heart. And then go ahead and slide your hips down to one side. Bring your feet around to the front. Make sure you have clear space on your mat behind you and come to lie back on the floor. You can keep your feet about hips width distance apart. Some folks like to take this one with a distance, or you can measure the distance by tickling your heels, and that's not going to work for everybody. So if it feels like too much intensity in your knees, give yourself a little bit more space there. On your inhale, reach the crests of your hips high upward toward the sky. And then as you do that, really work to activate glutes and hamstrings. That's going to give you a little bit more length in the front side of your hip. And then exhale, with your exhale, lower down, like you could land one vertebra at a time. That's going to be the movement with hips, pelvis, and length of your spine. Inhale lifts you up, and the exhale guides you down. So you can maintain that. Remember, you're active in the back side of your leg. Find lots of length in the front of your hip. If you'd like, with your inhale, as you lift, you might explore reaching your arms up and back overhead. That's just going to give you another layer of intensity or edge to your practice. Choose which one's right for you. Take a few more pulses. Inhale, lift. And exhale, back down. One more. Let your breath guide the movement. Nice, and then come all the way back down to the mat. Now without hugging your knees up and into your heart, float your feet. Float your feet. Stack your knees right above your hips, and then activate your feet toward the front edge of the mat. So it's something like a 90-degree angle. As an option for those of you that have this equipment at home, again, not required, but if you'd like to, you can take a block and bring it between your upper thighs. This is only going to serve as a landmark for a muscular activation. A book will work great as well, or you can do this block and book free. So this form that Alex is making with lower body, the practice is going to be to maintain that. Bring your arms out wide. And then I like to take this one with my palms down. If you feel steady and rooted with palms up, you can check that out as well. So use your exhale, start to guide your feet down toward the right edge of your mat. Pay attention to your left shoulder As you feel your left shoulder start to peel up, that's where you stop. Let your inhale draw you back to center. So yeah, it might not be as low as you predict, right, in a normal reclined twist. Exhale, both knees down towards your left. And as you feel your right shoulder start to lift, that's where you stop. Inhale back to center. So we're gonna start to take this like a metronome or like a pendulum, right? Swing to one side and the other. And so if you're soft in your abdomen, you might find your knees land all the way down, but then that opposite shoulder is gonna float up a little bit. Our work here is to take this as a much more active spinal twist and start to really reboot the fire of Manipura. Take a few more rounds. With your exhale, you twist. And with your inhale, you draw up to center. The next time, you draw down toward the left. And then return to center. Find neutral. If you have a block or book between upper thighs, you can set that off to the side. And now go ahead and give your knees a squeeze into your heart. You can take a little bit of movement on your low back. You can take some rolls with your ankles. You can take your feet or hips wide as in a happy baby, Ananda Balasana. A little bit of work with hip mobility, knee and ankle mobility, any sort of movement, maybe work to extend one leg long and then the other or both. Another breath or two. And then come on back towards center. Rest your feet back down to the earth, but with your knees bent. Bring your right ankle atop your left thigh. Right ankle atop your left thigh. So you have a figure 4 in your lower body. If that feels like a lot of sensation, stay. Otherwise, you can interlace behind your left hamstrings or onto your shin. You can also extend your left leg all the way up to the sky. You feel like you need a little bit more sensation there. Maybe open the sole of your foot up to the sky. 3, 2, 1. And then go ahead and exhale. If you have your left foot afloat, bend your knee. And then go ahead and cross your right leg now all the way over the left, all the way over the left. So you're fully kind of crisscrossed at the thighs. Reach your arms along either side and look for opposite ankles or the pinky toe edge of either foot. Drag your heels in toward outer hips. It's like a reclined Gomukhasana in the lower body. And then go ahead and untangle that in the lower body. You can rest back down onto the soles of your feet with your knees bent. This time, take your left ankle atop your right thigh. Choice to stay there. Hug in at your hamstrings or your shin. Or of course, you can extend your leg all the way up to the sky. And then exhale. If you have your leg extended, bend into your knee once again. Cross your left leg all the way over your right. Bring your arms alongside your ribs. Find opposite ankles or pinky toe edges of opposite feet. Take a drag back of your heels towards your outer hips and breathe. And go ahead and release that and then back down onto the soles of your feet. You can lengthen out your left leg long onto the floor now. And have your strap within reach. And then bend into your right knee, float your right foot. Take your strap underneath your toes or your necktie or your pillowcase. You can certainly bind right at the big toe for those of you working with that in your practice. Otherwise, take it right underneath the rest of your toes. And then extend your right leg long to the sky and take both tails of the strap with your left hand. Bring your right arm out wide from your shoulder. Press the palm down. And then invite the sole of your right foot across midline. So you're going to come into a twist. Now, same observation here. As you notice your right shoulder start to peel up and off the floor, that's where you stop and hold, because that's where you're going to be able to access the fire. We're not just dumping into flexibility. And if you're hovering there and you feel a little bit shaky or a little too fiery, work with that draw back and up of the navel. You hear that a lot. So again, Uddiyana Bandha, it's a draw back, but also up, like you want to roll it up and under your ribs. And then make sure you're still breathing. Whole lot going on. 3, 2, and 1. Slide all the way back towards center. So you can set your strap down onto the earth. Make sure it will be within reach for the second side. And then round your back, head, neck, and shoulders. Reach all the way up towards your floating right toes. And then you're going to move, alternate like you're climbing rope. So reach right fingertips high, and then left, right, and then left, right, and then left. Really anchor your left heel, active left heel, down into the earth. It's going to want to sneak up and maybe even float a little bit. Next, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Release head, neck, and shoulders back down. Bend your right knee. You can take a hug in with your right knee. And last little bit of movement there. And then lengthen your right leg out long. Lengthen your right leg out long. Okay, maybe take a breath there to observe right side versus left side. And then as you're ready, find your strap or necktie or pillowcase, bend into your left knee. We're going to take that to the opposite side. Take the strap underneath your 5 toes, across the big toe mound. Activate, reach your left leg long to the sky. Take your left arm out wide. So both tails of the strap are in your right hand on this time around. And then start to invite the sole of your left foot across midline. Where you feel your left shoulder start to peel up, you stop, you hover, you draw navel back and lift it upward. That bandha or that bind or that lock will really help you access more strength, stability, deeper fire, and also more length as you move into your twists this morning. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Get your tummy strong. Lift all the way back to center with an inhale. Bend into your left knee. Release the strap, and then you can extend once again. We're going to do that rope climbing. So left foot is extended, active toes. Reach all 10 fingertips up, and then alternate, raise one shoulder and then the other, like you're climbing a rope. Make sure your right heel stays anchored, right quadricep strong, down into the earth. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press everything down, hug your left knee in. Take any sort of movement, rolls with your ankle, rolls with your hip. And then go ahead and slide your left, or your right knee rather, up to meet your left. And either take rolls up and down the length of your spine to come up toward a seat, or you can roll down to one side and press yourself up toward the seat. Once you get there, roll through feet and ankles, or sweep them around behind you toward 4 points. Keep your hips up high above your knees. Walk your 10 fingertips toward the front edge of your mat and melt your heart down. We'll take this as a little bit of a pulse this morning to really get into some lubrication, mobility for the whole shoulder joint. So take a pause here first. Land your chin or your third eye point. And then go ahead and tent up onto all 10 fingertips so that your elbows come afloat. And then that's going to bring a little bit more edge to the underside of your upper arm as well. And begin to pulse. Exhale, round your back, draw your gaze toward a spot between your big toes. And then inhale, melt your heart down and float your gaze. You want to keep your hips more or less where they are. So it's like a tilt of your pelvis in, round your upper back, and then a lift of your tailbone back. Lift your gaze to follow, lift your heart. Just one more. And then go ahead and press into your palms, cat paw back, stack your arm joints, spread your fingers wide, with your toes tucked under at the back, reach your hips high and back on Vinyasa. And of course on this first one, you can take it with some movement, bend one knee and then the other, take a little hip sway if you'd like to. You can give your head a yes or no shake or nod. Settle back into center. Step both of your feet together in the middle. And then roll to the pinky toe edge of your right foot. You can bend into your left knee and step your foot in front of you for a modified Vashisthasana. So if you prefer, of course, you can also keep your feet stacked. If your body's feeling warm and ready for it, take full side plank here. Otherwise, land into the sole of your left foot, reach your left fingertips high. Notice if there's crunching or a shortening of the right side ribs. Work to draw left shoulder toward left hip. So there's evenness in side body. And then exhale, roll all the way back to center. Step both feet back. Land on your knees, and then your chest, and then your chin. Slide your heart through. Rest to the tops of your feet. Roll upper arm bones back, Bhujangasana. And exhale back down. Inhale to lift up through. This is a fun one you can add. You can roll through table, or for those of you that really like the fire, reverse push-up, lift to plank, and then all the way back, down dog. Once again, step your feet together in the middle. This time around, roll over toward the pinky toe edge of your left foot. And same option here. You can bend into your right knee, step your foot in front of you, reach high from here. Or if you'd like full expression, take your feet to stack on top of one another for side plank. Yogi's choice. Notice if there is constriction or shortening in the left side ribs, draw your right shoulder toward right hip. Evenness in the length of your side body. One more breath. And then go ahead and roll back to center. Step both feet back if you're not there already. Another round knees, chest, chin, or if you want to start layering on chaturanga, maybe land knees, elbows back to your ribs. Modified up dog on the tops of your thighs. And then stay on the tops of your feet. So all yogis, stay on the tops of your feet, float your knees. This is one of my favorites for building fire. So float your knees, stay on the tops of your feet, take a slow half lift back, like you're heading to down dog. And then slowly lower your hips. So it's also like a little baby Tibetan rite of rejuvenation, but you're on the tops of your feet. So you're really working that deepest corset of strength, the low belly. Float your gaze, and then a half lift back. We're going to take two more. Inhale as you raise your heart, and exhale, half lift. We might have done an extra one. I guess I lost count at counting to two. So if you did an extra one, great. You're going to be extra strong and fiery. This time around, go ahead and roll up and over your toes. Reach your hips high and back. Bring your gaze forward to your fingertips and take a slow walk up, one footprint at a time, all the way to the top edge of your mat. And then inhale, slide up to your fingertips or up to your shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to lower. Bring your arms out wide. Remember, everything's with this navel drawn back, so you have low back support as well. Reach all the way up to the sky. Utthita Konasana. Breathe your hands together to your heart. Check in here. If you'd like, you can bring your hands to Manipura, to your fire center. Tune back in. Whatever helps you anchor into the intention of the Sankalpa of the practice. Maybe find the color yellow that spoke to you. Also, the bija sound for this chakra is Ram, R-A-M, Ram. And notice the difference in the fire that you built here versus when you landed on the mat this morning. All right, let's twist a little bit more. We're gonna go right into a standing balance. Keep your right foot really grounded. Spread all of the toes wide. The so we don't crash into each other. So keep your right toes really wide, a little bit of a roll around, and make sure you're using your whole foot. And then float your left knee up so that it lines up with your hip. Left toes can be active. Then draw your elbows out wide, so you've got like cactus arms going on. We'll take a breath with Shiva twist. So it's with your exhale. Remember, we're looking to maintain side length as we twist, as opposed to rounding or crunching. So exhale, swivel, and you want to stack your right elbow atop your left knee without losing length in the side body. Breathe everything out. Exhale, 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 and then inhale back to center. We'll do that 2 more times. So you have a choice to leave your knee bent, or for those that love the fire, take an extension. Exhale, twist. Exhale, 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 and everything out. Breathe back to center. Nice. Last one. Exhale, twist. Breathe back to center. Nice. If you have your leg extended, go ahead and bend into it. Mindfully plant down to your left foot. Okay, swap sides. Left foot becomes your base. Get ready to activate this full side quadricep to support your knee. Float your right knee up into alignment with your hip. Activate or flare your toes. Bring your elbows wide. 3 round Shiva twist. So exhale, as if you want to stack your left elbow atop your right knee without sacrificing length in the side body. Better to be taller than deeper, right? Inhale back to center. 2 more rounds. Option to leave your knee bent or extend out. Exhale, twist. As if to stack left elbow atop your right knee. Lots of length in side body. Breathe back to center. 1 more. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Pump, squeeze it all out. All the way back to center. Nice. Well done. Bend into your knee. You have it extended. Mindfully come down. Take a breath. And from the top edge of your mat, inhale your arms out wide and high. Exhale to come all the way down, touch the earth or your blocks. Lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, 2 shins or your blocks. Exhale, rest into your palm, spread your fingers wide, step all the way back. All right, building some heat, Chaturanga Dandasana. Squeeze elbows back to ribs, and then inhale, lift. If you'd like, slow roll, keep on the tops of your feet, slow roll back. You can build more fire moving slowly. And then go ahead and flip your feet, downward facing dog. Land down towards your elbows simultaneously. So both elbows are landed. And then step your feet back, raise plank. Yes. Swivel your right elbow in. So you're going to take your right elbow congruent with the short edge of your mat. And then roll to the outer blade of your right foot. So we're back in a side plank, modified variation this time on your elbow. Reach your left fingertips high, float your left foot, and start to crunch. So elbow to knee, and then extend. Elbow to knee, and extend. Yes. Nice. 1 more. Beautiful. And then go ahead and lengthen out your left leg. Square back to center. So plant both elbows, both forearms down. Walk your feet in. So take a lift of your hips. Shishulasana. Breathe. Throw your ears down between your upper arms. Here we go. Second side. Walk your feet back. So return to raised plank. This time swivel left forearm so that it comes into alignment with the top edge of your mat. Roll to your pinky toe edge of your left foot. Reach your right fingertips high. Float your right foot. Start to crunch. You always have the option to hold the side plank or even land onto your right foot and hold here. Look for side body length. Otherwise, crunch. Elbow to knee. 2. And 1. Lengthen back out. Square back to the top edge of your mat. Land both of your forearms. Walk your feet in to lift your hips. Shishulasana. Child's pose is an option here. Close cousin. Take it here. Breathe. on your forearms. And then float both of your elbows, downward facing dog. Reach your right hand back to connect anywhere along your left leg. So right hand can come toward your left hip, outer thigh, all the way down to your heel. Drop your head really nice and heavy. And then again, deep, deep twist. So as you exhale, squeeze everything out, and look for the side body length. Go ahead and come back to center. Take a breath. Here we go, other side. This time around, take your left hand back, the outside of your right hip, thigh, or all the way down to your ankle or heel. Drop your head nice and heavy. Exhale, like a squeegee, right? It's really helping to massage your organs and build fire. Come all the way back to center. Take a breath. All right, because we're going for heat and fire and Agni this morning, bring your gaze forward. We're going to add in around Surya A. Lift your gaze forward, walk under, hop your way up. As you land, rise just halfway. Exhale, deepen your fold, get the tops of your thighs strong. And then inhale, take your arms wide, come all the way to standing. Breathe right down through your heart and take it forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to lift halfway, find fingertips or your shins. Exhale, ground your palms. You can step, you can hop, whatever you're working with in your practice at home yogis. Chaturanga here, always the option to meet back at downward facing dog. Big lift, and then for those that would like, stay on the tops of your feet. Slow rise back. Slow heat building, burning rise back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. Keep your toes active. Bring your gaze forward. Step your right foot all the way up through. You can take a couple steps. You can help with your hands. Land your left knee down behind you. Of course, cushion it with a blanket or fold your mat if you like. And then walk your hands up atop your right thigh. Bring your hands together to your heart. It's either really humid in the jungle today or we're really building Agni. I'm like soaking through this. Here we go. I hope you're feeling it at home too. All right, so keep your trunk tall. Keep your trunk tall, swivel like you want to stack your left elbow atop your right knee. So I know all of you are like, have this desire to come right down into the bind. However, I'm going to ask you to focus in your practice on that side body length. And if you feel like you can maintain that, then go ahead and hook left elbow to your outer right thigh. Take a lift with your sternum up toward greeting your thumb. So notice if your thumbs kind of rest back towards your armpit and your heart is resting down on your thigh, right? Perhaps, I'm going to give you a couple more steps if you'd like, you can build on. Perhaps take your arms wide for side body length. Perhaps bend into your right elbow, wrap behind your low back. And this is for those who feel like just getting tricky and playful this morning. Perhaps bend into your left elbow at the front. Remember, you have your strap or tie or shirt, right? So maybe you're coming left hand to right fingertips. Go ahead and release. Maybe it's back to wide wingspan, hands to heart. We're going to come out the same way we came in and then lift. So you're still twisted. Square back to center, sink way down into your hips, reach your 10 fingertips high, Anjaneyasana. And then breathe both hands down, only to reset your foundation. So frame your foot, float your back knee now. We're gonna revisit that exact same sequence, but this time from Ashtanga Chandrasana. So back knee is a float, reach all the way up high. Draw your hands together to your heart. Keep your trunk lifted, spin. Like you want to stack left elbow atop right knee. Keep it lifted. So notice where your ribs are in relationship to your pelvis. You're tall and long. If you feel like you can maintain that, perhaps bring your left elbow down. Remember to lift your sternum upward toward your thumbs. Perhaps bring your wingspan out wide. Perhaps wrap your right forearm around your lower back. And then the last option is left elbow underneath your front thigh. So you're still on the tippy toes behind you. Still have a nice fluid breath. 3, 2, yes, nice. Let's come out the same way we came in. So if you're bound, arms wide, then hands together to the heart, and then lifted but still twisted. All the way back to center, crescent warrior. Nice work. Whew. We got fire building. It's happening. Breathe it on down. Your choice. Chaturanga here, right? You can move through Vinyasa. You can also lift back to down dog. You got close cousin, child's pose nearby as well. Whatever you're moving through or to, take 3 breaths. And then inhale your left leg high. Bring your gaze forward, step your left foot through. Remember, you can help it with your hand. Take a couple steps if you'd like. Land your right knee down. We'll start low. Untuck your toes. Walk your hands up atop your thigh. Pull your hands together at your heart. Look for lots of space, like a bellows. Lengthen it out. Slide your right elbow as if you want to stack it atop your left knee. Maintain here, or without losing length, if that's possible, hook your elbow, lift your sternum toward your thumbs. Take your wingspan wide. All of these are options to build up or down in your practice. Perhaps bend your left elbow, wrap it around low back. Last piece is right elbow bend. Either look for hand to hand or have your strap or t-shirt or necktie handy. Remember to breathe, and where you feel like you can't maintain space, then take it back 1 notch. All right, release if you're bound. Wingspan wide, then fold hands to heart, then lift but stay twisted. Right elbow above left knee, and then swivel back to center, reach 10 fingertips high. Breathe all the way down. Plant your hands to reset your foundation. Tuck your right toes under behind you, float your right knee. We're in crescent warrior foundation. Inhale, your hands high. And then breathe your hands together. Here we go. Slide your ribs back above your pelvis so you're nice and tall and as long as your torso can be. Swivel. Right elbow like you want to stack it atop your left. Sternum and thumbs are connected at center. Perhaps lower. You feel like you can maintain that, lower. Activate the underside of your right knee at the back. Maybe wingspan wide. Bend into your left elbow perhaps, wrap it around low back. This is a great spot to land as well. Or bend into right elbow, maybe hook hand to hand. And then all of that, if you're there, still activating your back knee, your breath, find length inside body. Let's come back out. By wings. Hands to heart. Lift, but stay twisted. And all the way back to center. Take a breath. And then come all the way down. All right, same option. Step back. Your choice, chaturanga, back bend to down dog, right back to down dog. Of course, child's pose. Three breaths. And then inhale your gaze forward. Walk, lunge, or hop your way to the top edge of your mat. Slide up halfway to fingertips or shins. And while you're lifted, Ardha Uttanasana, take a little scan and find your strap. Make sure you're going to have it toward the top edge of your mat handy. Exhale to deepen your fold. And then inhale, go ahead and lift all the way up to standing. Breathe your hands together at your heart. Okay. So, find your strap, please, or your necktie, whatever you're working with. Anytime we are using this, in today's practice when there's a leg extension, anyone practicing at home, if you have the toe bind in your practice, it's peace fingers to big toe. Not necessarily guiding that option, but know that you have that, right? Okay, so go ahead and fold forward. Take the strap underneath your right toes. It comes to the big toe mound. You want to take up a lot of slack. Take both tails of the strap in your right hand to lift. Make sure the strap is to the inside of your right thigh. Okay. Activate left side quad and then swap hands. So left hand takes both tails, bring your right hand to your right hip and begin first by extending. So what's cool about the strap, this is your go-go gadget arm. You can give as much or as little slack as you like. So remember, toe bind is there too. And then start to swing your right leg across midline. Remember, there's space between ribs and either side body. If you'd like, take your right fingertips out wide from your shoulder. Maybe spin your gaze over toward your thumb. When you change your drishti, or focal point, you're really working those proprioceptors in neck spine. So you might get a little wobbly as we switch focal points. One more breath. Come all the way back to center and bend into your right knee. Lower yourself down. Take a fold. Okay. While you're folded, swap your entanglement with your strap. Take it underneath your left toes. Prepare for right side leg to become foundation or base. So start to activate right side quad and then come to standing. Steady. Remember, the strap should be to the inner seam of your left thigh. And then go ahead and swap the bind. So right hand to both tails of the strap. Take your left hand to your hip and work to extend. As much or as little slack as you need in your practice today. Once you're steady, begin to offer the sole of your left foot across midline. Yogi crash over here. Across midline, and maybe reach your left fingertips out wide from your shoulder. You can spin your gaze. Remember, changing up your focal points, really a big test for your balance and your spatial awareness. Long in the side body and nice, full, robust breath. One more round. Bring it on back to center. Bend into your knee. And lower down. Set your strap off to the side. Take a fold. And go ahead and inhale halfway up. Exhale to deepen, step or hop back. Move through vinyasa is optional or right back to down dog. And then inhale your gaze forward. Step your right foot through. If you'd like, you can take a lift with your right leg behind. Step your right foot all the way up through. Make sure your strap is within reach. And we'll stay low as we work into this. So well, those of you that saw the warning, I warned you yesterday we were going into a ridiculous pose today. So hopefully you will find it fun like I do. No pressure to get there. So stay low, walk your left hand to the pinky toe edge of your right foot. So it may be helpful, it may be wise to step your back foot in a little bit closer. So it's not quite as long of a warrior stance. And then right arm bends behind your low back. This is where you might want to work with your strap. We've seen this bind before. But this time I'm going to ask if you didn't come into that variation, find it. Even if it's with this might be fun at home if anyone's practicing alone at home to try and get the strap bound. Ask your dog or cat to help you out, get it in your hands. So once you're bound and twisted, then there's a little hop forward. Hop, 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 hop forward. So you bring your left foot all the way up to meet your right. It's already ridiculous. We're going to build on. Here we go. Press into your left foot Get fully rooted into your left foot as base. Float to your right toes. So it might look like this. It might be like a float to right toes and then land. Float to right toes and then land. If you feel steady, lift. Or just fall to the floor and give up and ask yourself, what's the meaning of all of this? Okay, so perhaps, nice. If you feel steady there, you can extend. We have a revolve. So a lot of you guessed in the Instagram story riddle that this was going to be bird of paradise, and I said very close. Revolved. Even more ridiculous. Revolve, bird of paradise. Take one more breath. Whew. And then go ahead and bend. Yeah. It is one of those poses, though, if you feel into it, you really feel a sense of accomplishment, right? Go ahead and come down. Give yourself a pat on the back. Plant both hands. And then here you go, between the sides. If you'd like, if you want to build more fire, take your vinyasa. Remember, you have a second side. Save a little bit of gas. Rock back to downward facing dog. Nice. Let's reset. It's okay to laugh at yourself in yoga. Sometimes we take yoga so seriously. It's like, you know, what else are you going to do? You fall out of a pose. You're going to move on with your day. Take your left leg high. Bring your gaze forward. Step your left foot through. So we're going to reset. Remember to have your strap or your necktie, whatever you've got at home, handy. Keep your upper body low. Take your right hand to the pinky toe edge. So we've done all that twisting to maintain side body length. Keep that in mind. Draw your navel back toward lumbar. We're building all that fire. And then find your strap. Wrap your left arm around low back. And find underneath your right thigh. And then start to tiptoe or slide or hop your right foot all the way forward. It's actually more complex for me with the strap. So come all the way to standing, then press down into your right foot, activate right quad, maybe roll to tippy toes and then land, roll to tippy toes and then land. Perhaps come all the way to standing. Good, quad members dropping like flies back here, like what have I signed on to? Okay, perhaps if you feel steady bound, work to extend. And if you're there, you know, also equally ask yourself, what is the point of all of this? It's absolutely ridiculous. As you're ready, breathe your way all the way down. Untangle, unwind, come back to center. Last option for a vinyasa. So last chance, you really want to build into that heat. Step or hop back. Chop it under as an option or right back to down dog. And let's all come down, knees to the earth. Rest your sits bones back to your heels. Rest your forehead down. Balasana, child's pose. You can pray to whoever you pray to here. Give thanks that that is over, almost. And take a moment here to neutralize and cool down. A few big breaths. Your inhale, walk in toward a tall seat. Slide your hips down to one side, your feet around to the front. Bring your feet to touch one another at the center. So we did a whole lot on the outer line of the hips today. I'd like to give a little bit of a more restorative shape to end the practice for inner seam. So rest back towards your elbows or perhaps all the way down. Of course, if you've got bolsters or pillows at home, if you want to prop this up and get even cozier with it, you have that option as well. So rest all the way down to the earth. You have a little bit of edge on the inner seam of your hips and thighs. You can land your hands to Manipura, the lustrous gem at solar plexus. You might even get a sense of your pulse moving there. So chances are it's a little faster, it's a little bit more awake and alive, the fire, than when we first landed on the mat to practice together. This is our center as well of decision making, of personality. It's where, like, once we have our survival needs met and we've stepped into pleasure and joy, we really get to work with, like, what makes us uniquely who we are, right? And so ego resides there as well. But ego does also have healthy forms. It's what drives us forward or motivates us. So tune into what's coming up for you there, what tone of yellow. So the home of energy and lightness. Fire has quite a light quality. You may get a sense of this if you ever feel like stress or sadness, and then you go and move through a practice that's very fiery. Quite often there's a renewed sense of lightness in your system after a good sweat, a good Avani session. We're going to take just a few more breaths here. And then if you like, you can help with your hands. Find your outer thighs, help guide your knees back together at center. And then once again, press into all edges of both feet and roll your hips upward toward the sky. I'm going to offer this option, and also I know I didn't tell you needed blocks or books today, so if you don't have this stuff at home, you can also stay raised up in Setu Bandhasana, more active bridge. You are still going to be accessing length and space in the front side of your body after that deep abdominal work. So you can stay here, or if you do have a block or some books or even a nice firm pillow nearby, take that underneath your low back. And then perhaps work to lengthen out one leg and then the other. You're just going to find a lot of length in the front, whole front side of your torso, your abdomen, fronts of your hips, quads, to get everything really nice and soft. Take 3 more breaths. And if you have your legs extended, slide to the soles of your feet. Press into all edges of both feet to lift. Slide any props out from underneath you and come back down to the earth. Leave your knees bent and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Come to rest back at center. You can keep your feet wide, but touch your knees onto one another in the middle. Reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling or sky. Roll with your wrists in one direction and then the other. And then reach all 10 fingertips as high up as you can and start to rock from side to side. Just roll one shoulder out from underneath you and then the other. So it's like a lift, kind of like that climbing rope practice we did at the beginning of class today. One shoulder up and then the other. And then allow your arms to come down alongside your ribs. Of course, if there's any last practice, posture movement that you feel that your body needs to feel most settled into your final integration, then please find that. Otherwise, as you're ready, you can slide your legs out long. I'll guide one last practice of pranayama to cool down, to fan the flames of the practice. So come all the way on down, and I'll guide Shitali or Shitakari. If you're unfamiliar with the practice, you may of course come up to a seat and watch the screen, and I'll show what's happening. Otherwise, you can follow the verbal cues. So take a few breaths in and out through your nose. And then the next time you inhale, extend your tongue, but make a roll with your tongue, like you're creating a straw with your tongue. Those that don't have that genetic trick in their tools of the trade, then you can also open your mouth and breathe through your teeth, through your mouth, and then close your mouth without clenching your jaw and exhale through your nose. So that will be the rhythm: an inhale through your mouth and an exhale through your nose for Shitali or Shitakari pranayama, cooling breath. Inhale through the straw of your tongue. Exhale through your nose. Inhale through the straw of your tongue or through the surface of your teeth. And exhale through your nose. Inhale. Either way, you're getting the air to cross over the surface of your tongue, which gives it a real cooling effect before it enters your system. And exhale through your nose. 2 more rounds, Shitali or Shitakari. Inhale through your mouth. Exhale through your nose. And then return to a natural breath, softened and settled. Rest all the way down into the support that you find beneath you. Comfortable, strong, steady, stable earth. This foundation that supports the growth and the development of all of the elements in your system. Lend yourself over, soften, surrender, release, relaxed integration in Shavasana. This work to stoke Agni or fire in our system, the main characteristic or purpose of fire is that it is transformational. And so it really, really has a deeply cleansing quality. And you can see that in the way that it really gets our body temperature to rise. You might feel like you were sweating a little bit more than usual. I know I feel that way, just guiding the class. So it really has this beautiful burning off or destroying and starting a new quality. We move into the elements of fire. That's the gift of Avani, of our Manipura, this lustrous gem at the center of your being has to be put in the fire a bit so that it can be polished up and come back to its golden glow. I thank you all so much, so deeply for joining in this fiery, ridiculous fun practice. It's an absolute pleasure to share here with all of you. Please feel free to maintain your Shavasana for as long as you would like and have a beautiful rest of your day or evening ahead. Jai Bhagwan. Namaste.